Budget 2025 is a budget for all Singaporeans. It provides immediate support for families and businesses amid cost pressures while advancing our growth frontier for the future. This focus on tackling immediate challenges while positioning Singapore for the longer term has been a focus of this government and has served Singapore well. This year, we celebrate SG60. We have much to celebrate. From a fledgling nation with limited resources, we built a thriving economy, a cohesive society, and a livable city for our people. Our people are living longer and healthier lives in affordable and vibrant estates. Our workers enjoy good jobs and rising wages in a modern economy. Our students learn and excel, and adults continue learning all their life. As we enjoy the SG60 package in this budget, let us express our gratitude for the hard work and sacrifices of earlier generations of Singaporeans and for their support for political leaders to forge a path forward to uplift all. While we have done well over the last 60 years, changes will accelerate in the years ahead. PM delivered the budget statements in a world that is moving towards a multipolar economic order. Domestic politics in many countries are making up more polarized and fragmented, making rational policy making harder. Global political and security dynamics and trade and investment flows are shifting rapidly. Climate and demographic change are the warp and weft, weaving inexorable impact on the future of humankind. Advances in science and technology are transforming our economies and societies. Imagine, the smartphone in our pockets today have more compute power than the Apollo 11 module that took the first man to the moon. Game-changing technologies like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, 5G, 6G, satellite communications, robotics, biotechnology, EV, AV, and nuclear fusion are advancing rapidly. All this will change how we work and live. As chairman, I've been working with my teams at the National Research Foundation and the Future Economy Advisory Panel to stay on the pulse of these seismic movements. How can we right these changes to create a better future for Singaporeans? Now, we must stay creative and find opportunities in adversity and in times of major changes to emerge stronger, just as we did during the Asian financial crisis, the global financial crisis, and more recently through the COVID-19. We must also invest in creating our future. So let me suggest 3 areas. First, we must press on with our economic transformation. At the last budget debate, I outlined our latest phase of economic transformation, starting with the formation of the Future Economy Council in 2017. Last year, we launched a report to take stock of our efforts. There are copies of this report in the Parliament Library. Between 2016 and 2023, Singapore's labour productivity grew by 3.1% per annum, and this puts us among the top 3 of a select group of small, advanced economies with similar population size and GDP. Now, our workers and businesses have all benefited. I thank all our leaders in our business sectors, unions, trade associations, and chambers, and academia who have lent your support and expertise. But change is inherently difficult, particularly when faced with near-term headwinds. Fewer companies facing geopolitical uncertainties and higher costs are launching transformation projects. But we must press on to create new value add and stay competitive. So even as businesses make full use of the corporate income tax rebate and progressive wage credit at this budget to manage immediate cost pressures, I urge them to also make the best use of the measures, such as the Enterprise Compute Initiative and the redesigned Skills Future Enterprise Credit to transform. Let us build on the partnerships and structures we have established to support each other, whether through the tripartite platforms like NTUC's company training committees or public-private partnership platforms like the Alliance for Action on Business Competitiveness, led by MTI and SBF. We will go further in our transformation journey by working together. Now, I've spoken on pressing on with transformation. The second area is to continue to invest and double down on our investments in research, innovation, and enterprise. Science, technology, and innovation are advancing at an accelerated pace. These advances will reshape and disrupt industries, changing the competitive dynamics and transforming our lives and our societies. The recent buzz over AI, new generation of chips, and 5G, 6G communication is just the beginning. Given the critical value of technology and innovation, strategic and economic strength of nations and of companies will depend on who can make the breakthroughs and retain their lead. The stakes have never been higher, and that is why great power rivalry is intensifying. But around the world, enough players believe in collaboration to tackle common challenges shared by humanity. So we must continue to position Singapore as a trusted and neutral global Asia node of technology, innovation, and enterprise, where like-minded partners come together to collaborate. Our investments in RIE will not only support our economic transformation, but also benefit our people, directly and indirectly. For example, AI and robotics will automate routine tasks, augmenting our declining workforce and improving the quality of jobs. The science of learning, which explores how we learn, and the use of AI learning tools can allow us to personalize learning for each student and worker. Our National Precision Medicine Program seeks to personalize treatments based on our genetic makeup. Geriatric science, such as that being studied at the Queenstown Health District, seeks to keep our aging population healthy and active for longer. Low-carbon fuels and smart cities allowed us to make the best use of our limited land size while reducing our carbon emissions. Now, over the years, we have invested around 1% of GDP annually to support RIE activities, with $28 billion committed for the current RIE 2025 plan. Now, unlike R&D in a private company, the benefits of these public research expenditures accrue to the whole economy and society. Unfortunately, we are seeing a worrying trend where some governments are making cuts in these areas as they do not fully understand their value, risking great damage to themselves in the long run. Members, including Ms. Jessica Tan and Mr. Pritam Singh, have asked what progress looked like. Now, let me give a few examples. Our RIE spending has supported our research talent and raised the quality of research in Singapore. Singapore's field-weighted citation impact, a measure of research impact, grew from 1.29 in 2010 to 1.52 in 2022, which is 52% above the global average. Our universities, research institutes, and academic medical centers are well regarded globally. NUS and NTU are ranked among the top 5 universities in Asia. Now, this is not a small achievement, considering that we have such a small population and there are so many universities in Asia alone. MNCs, SMEs, and startups alike partner with our research ecosystem to develop new products and services through platforms like company R&D centers, over 20 corporate labs, and centers of innovation. Indeed, as members have raised, innovation is key. Our agencies organized renowned innovation platforms such as the Singapore Week of Innovation and Technology and the Singapore FinTech Festival, the largest in the world. The percentage of firms with R&D activities grew from 14.8% of GDP in 2012 to 23.6% in 2022. Now, our RIE investments support entrepreneurship and incubation programs in our universities, which generates a pipeline of startups. In fact, the Global Startup Ecosystem Index Report 2024 ranks Singapore first in Asia and 7th globally. So I put forth that over the years, our RIE investments have supported economic growth, created good jobs, and improved lives for Singaporeans. Now, Mr. Neil Parikh also asked, what else will we do? We will finalize our investments from 2026 to 2030 later this year, but let me share 2 major new initiatives that we are working on for RIE 2030. The first initiative is Applied AI. I think Mr. Henry Kwek made a good speech yesterday on the importance, on the use of AI. So our first initiative on Applied AI includes applying AI to major use cases in priority sectors such as healthcare, education, finance, advanced manufacturing, connectivity, logistics, and transport. Now we have started on this. In October last year, we launched a $120 million AI for Science initiative to support researchers in leveraging AI to accelerate discoveries in fields such as advanced materials and biomedical sciences. Applied AI sits at the intersection of AI and domain knowledge. Building on the strong domain expertise of our practitioners and researchers in healthcare, education, finance, engineering, and many others, we will invest more in developing bilingual scientific talent, researchers who can bridge between AI technologies and domain expertise. Now, the second new initiative is the development of new large-scale cross-cutting R&D programs called flagships and grand challenges to achieve greater impact. RIE flagships will push for value creation in key economic sectors, and RIE grand challenges will address the national strategic priorities. These flagships and grand challenges will pull together relevant research and translational capabilities across our universities, A-STAR, and other research institutes, public agencies, and private sector players to form a suite of purposefully coordinated and synergistic programs. The linkages between research, translation, and commercialization will be tightened to advance key economic areas, produce new products and companies, and address real-world needs and problems. I'm pleased that work has started to scope and design these initiatives. The first grand challenge proposes to address the opportunities and challenges of healthy and successful longevity. And the first flagship will be focused on advancing our semiconductor and microelectronics R&D. We will announce more details later. Now, even as we do this, we must remember that while Singapore's research investments are significant, it is a small fraction of global R&D spending. So we must work with like-minded partners from the region and around the world to achieve synergy. Just as an illustration, while our investments are $28 billion over 5 years, the US alone in 1 year was $923 billion US dollars, and China was US $812 billion. So and even as a percentage of their GDP, they are far higher. So I think we must have a sense that even as we want to talk about value for money, that what we are spending is a tiny fraction. And I would say that even private sector players, like the Alphabet, spent $45 billion in 2023 alone. Meta spent $38.5 billion, and Apple $30 billion, all in US dollars. So we have to work with like-minded partners from the region around the world to achieve synergy. So beyond achieving impact for Singapore, we must contribute to addressing global challenges as these are faced by everyone. Hence, as part of our positioning as a global Asian node, we will step up our international partnerships in the coming years. And while we launch new initiatives, we will continue to invest in basic research to develop talent in our universities and in upgrading our research infrastructure. So in addition to what PM announced in the budget, we'll also invest in new data and compute capabilities. I've spoken on economic transformation and investing in research. To capture the value of our research, the third area is to strengthen our innovation and enterprise ecosystem. We're off to a good start, with Singapore ranked #1 in 3 different reports: IMD's World Competitiveness Ranking, IMD's World Digital Competitiveness Ranking, and the World Intellectual Property Office, or WIPO, Global Innovation Index. To remain competitive, we must continue to maintain our outward orientation. Companies invest in Singapore not just for our market, but as a gateway to the region. Singapore has served this role well in the last 60 years. Today, Asia accounts for over half of the world's population and about 40% of global GDP. The projected medium-term growth rates of 4 to 5% is double that of the G7 developed nations. As a future economy will be driven by technology and innovation, to stay relevant, Singapore must position ourselves as a 21st century living laboratory or living lab, where companies and innovators test new solutions and then scale them up to the region and the world. We can serve as a springboard for companies to venture to a new future to a wider world market. In this regard, our regulatory agencies play an important role. They need to fulfill their mandates to regulate safely and effectively while staying on top of changes and facilitating new ideas and innovation. For example, MAS has embraced its dual mandate to supervise and develop the financial sector and is pushing the frontier in new areas such as digital and sustainable finance. SFA is the first in the world to approve lab-cultivated meat for commercial sale. LTA is facilitating trials of autonomous vehicles to transport goods and keep our public roads clean. So I trust that our regulatory agencies will continue to build up the capabilities and the mindset to facilitate innovation while managing risks. Talent is another key pillar of our innovation strategy. The government is committed to helping every Singaporean achieve his or her potential. When I was Education Minister, we launched an applied learning program to interest the young in science and technology. Earlier on, I supported Mr. Philip Yeo, then chairman of A-STAR, to send promising young Singaporeans to the top universities in the world to do their PhD under the A-STAR scholarship. To date, almost 1,400 have completed their studies and returned, where they contribute to cutting-edge work in our research institutes and uplift our companies' R&D capabilities. In the coming years, I encourage more Singaporeans to develop bilingual fluency in the languages of business and in science and technology. Make full use of these budget enhancements to build new skills. At the same time, we must also welcome the best from around the world to be here. Just as steel sharpens steel, strong minds sharpen each other. Indeed, EDB plans to launch a Global Founder Program to attract more experienced global founders to grow impactful new ventures from Singapore. Growing up in a diverse multicultural society, Singaporeans are well placed to serve as bridges to connect ideas and talents across the world. Together, we can learn from the best, work with the best, and build a bit better home for future generations. Before I conclude, allow me a brief reflection on SG60. A decade ago, I was chairing the SG50 Steering Committee, where we engaged with Singaporeans to express their love and hopes for Singapore. I was inspired and humbled by the hardy spirit of our pioneers and the dynamism of our youth. I was then working on my first budget and thinking hard about how to support Singaporeans to ride the waves of change to come. Even 10 years ago at SG50, we knew big changes would come. We invested our resources, our hopes and energies in building a resilient nation. We never imagined we could be hit by a global pandemic that defined a generation. Yet we pulled together and pulled through. Our Singapore that celebrates SG60 this year is a tougher, stronger, and also kinder and more compassionate Singapore than the one that celebrated SG50. As I look forward to SG70 and beyond, my wish is for us to continue to invest in all Singaporeans, young and old. Let us invest in enabling our seniors who have done so much for the progress of Singapore to enjoy healthy, fulfilled, and productive longevity. Let us invest in our young to develop their full potential, to develop uniquely human skills and competencies, to thrive in a world of AI, robotics, and other technological advances. In particular, let us continue to invest our time and energy to continue deepening our multiracial, multi-religious, multicultural society. If we can forge our path forward, our youth today will serve as valuable bridge builders, connecting ideas and talent across the world to solve pressing challenges facing humanity. In a world heading towards greater contest and fragmentation, amid rapid advances in science, technology, and innovation, Singaporeans can play a valuable part as bridge builders and connectors. And Singapore can be a trusted and neutral global Asia node of technology, innovation, and enterprise. Together, we can learn from the best, work with the best, and build a better home for future generations. I trust colleagues in the House and all Singaporeans will support this call as we celebrate SG60 and grow towards the future.